What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Tonight we have Richie from Boston, who says that he's captured the moon coming out of a portal. Apparently that's how the moon rises at night, or raises, whatever. Apparently it comes out of a portal and then it has this cooling light and then it disappears back into a portal near daytime or daylight. So we're going to be going over his shitty evidence for moon portals. Also, there's the whole cooling light thing that I can explain and all that. Let's move on to the response video, shall we? So tonight we have Richie from Boston. He thinks that he's captured the moon coming out of a portal and rising in the sky, producing cool moonlight, and then disappearing back into a portal. So we're going to hear what he's got to say. Trust me, you're going to lose brain cells. That's why I have Mr. Jack Daniels. Yeah, Gentleman Jack. And Diet Coke. We got a new member. Welcome, Helene Moreau. I'm sure I fucked that up. You can let me know how to not fuck that up in the comments right now. I appreciate all of the Skeptic Mafia members. You can hit that join link if you wanna be part of our special group. We meet on Tuesdays for the Bible podcast, and you get to choose which video, which is tonight. Tonight is one of the videos chosen by the Skeptic Mafia. I give you guys 3, and we chose Richie from Boston. So let's go, Richie. What have you got for us?
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 16th. It's April. It's 2019. And you are looking at footage that I took of the moon coming up over the Atlantic Ocean. Now, if you followed my channel, you've probably seen this video and you understand why this means so much to me. I took this footage on November 24th, 2018. I was standing on the beach. I had to get to the ocean with my Nikon P1000 and videotape the moon coming up for whatever reason. It's just one of those inside urges you have to go do. Now, I'm not necessarily a big fan of the cold weather. Well, on November 24th on the Atlantic Ocean on the beach, it was cold. But this...
Okay, I'm gonna stop him real quick. For one thing, MH that just became a member. It took me months to get Chrismer's name right, and his is far more simple. Is far simpler than yours. So I hope you don't take that as an insult or anything. I'm just really bad at pronouncing names online. I'm sure that if I heard it, it would I could repeat it fine. But anyways, so Richie from Boston here thinks that the moon is made out of plasma, and he thinks this because apparently the atmospheric refraction that's going on in this particular video that he shot, he doesn't actually believe that. He believes, because of this old footage, that the moon is made out of plasma and that it gives off its own light. Now, his evidence here is, as you can tell on the sides of it, it's kind of ripply, and the moon's surface seems, in his perspective, to move around a little bit, but I can assure you the moon isn't moving. It's just the refraction in the atmosphere that's causing it to distort. You can also see this like for yourself whenever you look at like something in the water. If you see something in the water, the light is refracted, so it's not exactly where you see it when you're looking in the water. There's a lot of cool like visual tricks that you can play with that. But it's the same basic concept here. It seems like it's moving, or it seems like these things are changing or whatnot, but it's really not. It's just the fact that the moon is moving relative to his position on the Earth and the refraction that's occurring in the atmosphere.
This is what I caught on video, and if you pay attention, you can notice that these dark spots, these objects, are in flux. They're fluid. They're moving. Now,
okay, so the reason why that the moon is kind of red right now is due to the atmosphere. The light is hitting the atmosphere in just a way to where it's scattering the red portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, and that is what's being cast upon the moon.
People are going to call it atmospheric lensing, et cetera, all the other scientific terms that NASA's given people to explain things that we can see.
Oh, but here at Richie from Boston, we say, fuck that shit. We don't care about the actual natural explanations. Let's get some supernatural shit in here. Let's draw some fucking portals around in this place, and let's conspiracy theory the fucking shit up all the way.
That they completely rename and give another reason for. Do you see what I'm saying? Pay attention to these spots, these dots. They're all moving. The outside edge of the moon is moving. The Book of Enoch and many other texts explain to us that the moon is a lesser light. Pay attention to these dots. You're seeing them move.
No, you only perceive them to be shimmering or moving because of the atmospheric refraction that is occurring. Lensing can also bring up some stuff for you on like Google, but mainly it's people that are responding to the phrase atmospheric lensing, but it's refraction that's occurring.
Do you see what I mean? I could see this with my eyes. The outside edge of the moon was continually moving exactly like a fluid or a plasma. Once the moon got to a certain height in the sky, it was no longer red. It turned.
You can see the atmosphere, like at one particular point down there, like part of the moon detached from the moon. Where did that moon matter go? Moon plasma. How much do you think moon plasma sells for on the black flat earth market? Oh man, do you think that I could get some like red jelly and be like, this is moon plasma? Yeah, you can use this, you can eat it. It tastes just like cherry, but don't worry, you eat it right up and you'll become part of the moon one day. Like, I'm fairly certain that I could probably sell that to people that believe that the moon's made out of plasma.
I've got grape jelly.
You got grape jelly?
Yeah.
Too bad it's not like cherry or something, because, I mean, this moon's kind of red right now.
We usually just like strawberry jelly.
Yeah, NA in the comments says $1 billion an ounce. Fuck yeah! I'd sell it to him for that. I'm sure I could get Robbie Davidson to buy some moon plasma.
Turned white, and then it got exponentially colder outside. The moon gives off a cold light. I caught this on video.
Okay, no, he didn't catch it on video. To explain the cool moonlight, you have to understand how things retain heat and how the atmosphere actually affects that. So, when the sun goes down, the Earth is going to give off. It's going to radiate that heat, right? It's radiant energy. And so as the moon, ascends into the sky and everything like that, it gets cooler throughout the night because the Earth is giving off of the heat that it collected during the day. But the atmosphere can allow it to trap that heat and keep it, somewhat the same temperature. But it does decrease in temperature. But what they do is they test like outside just in the general area, and you'll have one temperature, and then it'll be hotter underneath some kind of canopy or something like that, right? Well, that's because the canopy restricts the amount of radiant energy that's allowed to escape just into the air. And so that convection or whatnot that keeps stuff hot, underneath the canopy, will cause you to get one reading, while out in the open where the heat is allowed to like escape in all directions, it has a cooler like reading. So that's what he's saying here, and you can go over to like Greater Sapiens channel, and you can find his experiment where he tests with a moon and without a moon, and you will be able to find out that it doesn't radiate any kind of heat, really. I believe the moon actually reflects about 10% of the sun's light, like at 10% power or whatnot, so that's what that is.
Looking at it now. NASA has led people to believe that the moon is a rock, that the moon is in charge of when the tide comes in or goes out. The only issue with that is when the moon comes up, it's exponentially larger.
Here you'll find out that Richie doesn't know what the fuck exponential means. No, the moon does not get exponentially bigger or smaller. Okay? Also, crap, I can't even remember what the fuck he said that was dumb as shit. Hold on.
Goes
Everything.
out.
Everything.
The only issue with that is when the moon comes up and the tide comes in or goes out. The only issue with that is when the moon comes up, it's exponentially larger.
Okay, so just to cover this real quick, the moon does have like the moon is tied to the tides, but it's more because the Earth spins and the moon is also there that the tides happen as they do. So it's a combination of the two, but the moon is a major part of like waves and tides and all that. The moon's gravity pulls on the water as the Earth spins around. That's what happens. He of course doesn't believe in gravity, so I don't know what he thinks causes the tides, other than the fact that they just happen. But he's not actually going to be able to explain the tides without invoking some kind of magical property.
As it goes up in the sky, it gets smaller. And as it begins to turn into what appears to be a solid, it gets brighter and it goes from red to white. And
because it's reflecting more of the sun's light. Because right now it's not. And then when it gets higher in the sky, it is. And the atmosphere's not refracting as much light, not scattering all that red part of the spectrum. I fucking can't with this motherfucker right here. This is the guy that believes that like fucking Anubis has been cloned beneath like major cities and shit. I don't know. It's in another video that I've done.
When it does that, it gets much colder out. But also notice there's clouds behind the moon. But I digress.
No, there's no clouds behind the moon. That's dumb as fuck.
Like I said, ancient texts talk about this. The book of Enoch and the courses of the heavenly luminaries.
Okay, for one thing, it's not illuminaries. It's just luminaries. But that's semantical. Anyways, so this is where they appeal to tradition. And it's a much older tradition than normally people appeal to. They appeal to the tradition of people before, the Common Era, BCE time frame. So they'll appeal to the Bible, the Old Testament specifically. They'll appeal to old civilizations and whatnot, because they feel like these people are farther removed from this Illuminati New World Order sort of system that they think is actually going on. They appeal to them because they agree with their position that the Earth is flat and that there aren't any planets and all this other stuff. Before people even recognized what these like moving stars were in the sky being planets, they appeal to those people because they feel like they're more correct. And it's just backwards ass thinking, really.
Links in the description explains what Enoch was seeing. He saw 6 portals in which the sun rises and 6 portals in which the sun sets. And the moon rises and sets in these portals.
There are 6 portals positioned all across this flat Earth. And the sun rises and sets in each portal, as well as the moon. When the sun sets in one portal, the moon rises in the opposite portal. So what I think happens is that the sun dips itself into the portal and it becomes a cooling light, and it emerges from the opposite end of the portal, and then boom, there's the moon. But does this mean that there are 6 different fucking moons that go in each portal? Is one moon and one sun tied to each portal pair? How the fuck do these portals work, Richie? We gotta know.
Leaders of the stars and those whom they lead, 6 in the east, 6 in the west, and this goes on and on and on and on. I'm not going to read all this to you because there's another channel that does that for you. I'm not it. Do you see what I'm saying? But if there's portals, then it appears I witnessed it coming out of the portal that's at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean.
There's a portal at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean, guys. I don't know if you knew this, but at the edge of the Atlantic, there's a portal in which the moon traverses. I don't know where the fuck this portal is. I don't know why you guys on the other side of Richie, in like, I guess, I don't know. Fuck, would that be like Africa, France, Portugal, United Kingdom? Where is this portal at exactly, Richie?
It appears that I also caught it coming out of another portal in the mountains of Arizona. Now, this was footage I got at the San Catalina mountain range.
So, there's a portal at the other end of the Atlantic Ocean, while at the same time, there is another portal in the mountains, wherever the fuck he is.
What?
And the moon rises out of both of these portals at the same time. There are two separate moons on this flat Earth.
What?
Yeah, that's the only way that I can make any sense of this.
So, I put in the chat a little bit ago, and I don't know how many people saw it, but do you remember what I told Xander about the revolving doors?
Yeah. He literally believes this. So, for those of you watching on the replay, at one point in time, we went to the Chattanooga Aquarium. Wasn't it Chattanooga Aquarium? That's where we first did it.
Yes.
So, they have spinning, rotating doors, right? Well, we told Xander that if he went through the doors fast enough, he would end up in Japan.
No, it was all the way around.
Oh, if he went all the way around in one door, he would be in Japan.
Yeah.
This is pretty much what Richie believes right here.
And he was like, what? And the lady in front of me, you remember she like turned around and started laughing because she heard me say it?
Yeah, and then there's a pothole cover, manhole cover out here that says, I believe it says like India or something on it. I remember one day coming home, I was like, that's a portal to India. Don't go in there. Let's see. Teo Software wants me to pronounce aperture science. Aperture.
You also had a super chat.
Yeah, I've had a couple super chats. JC, the moon is in truth Christmas ASCII middle finger. Lucifer's Fallen, who became a member earlier, I believe. Why do these people attempt to disprove modern science with ancient texts? Okay, so like I said before, they feel like these ancient texts are far enough removed from our modern science to not be affected by whatever Illuminati control modern science is under. Also, they appeal to them because they agree with their stance. Like, those particular texts agree with their stance that the earth is flat and that, I guess God came on the heavens and that's all of his come up there. That's the stars. I don't know.
And the moon is coming right up over the mountains. See how far off it is? So I zoom in on it. And strangely, it's enormous, first of all. As soon as it comes up, it's enormous. And the outside of it, once again, is doing the exact same thing.
Because there's still a fucking atmosphere wherever you're at on the earth. There is no place on the earth where atmosphere doesn't exist and atmospheric refraction is not going to affect you looking at the moon. God damn, Richie.
Richie dumb.
It appears that it's turning from a red, hot plasma into a solid white light source.
A red hot plasma, honey. Like, plasma is pretty fucking hot, Like, it's really, really far out there hot. So, I mean, I don't think this is plasma. Like, if it was plasma, then you would have nuclear fusion going on. You would have a lot of light being produced. Like, more light than what this thing is. And also, the reason why light, when it hits something, it gives off energy is because light is energy. And when it is absorbed into something, that energy has to go somewhere, and so it becomes heat energy. That's what happens when light is stopped by something. So that's why it doesn't make sense that the moon having a cooling effect is a thing, because the light, no matter what, when it hits something and that something absorbs that light, the light is transferred into heat energy. Of course, some of the light is reflected off of it, and whatnot. So not all of it's transferred to heat energy. But I mean, that's a very basic top level of like technical why this cooling light can exist.
And when it turns from red to solid white, the ambient temperature drops instantaneously, 10 to 15 degrees. Now, many people have done experiments where they use temperature laser guns, temperature laser finders, etc., and they've discovered that the moon actually gives off a cooling light, which makes sense.
No, it's not instantaneously. I mean, ever since the sun goes down and there's no direct light or heat being put on the Earth or being injected onto the Earth or whatever, like as soon as that goes away, it starts to cool down. And just because you can take the temperature out in the open and it's cooler than under a canopy, that doesn't actually prove that the moon is giving off like cooling light.
This is on a tripod, so I don't know what to tell you. When it's zoomed out this much, there is a little bit of shake. But if you look at the dark spots inside here, you can see that they're not all solid. They're moving.
Okay, if it were plasma and it were moving, why isn't it moving more? Why doesn't the circles deform more? Why do they always reform in the same shapes as we see them every single fucking night? Could it be that it's not fucking plasma and that they're actually like craters and shit on the moon? I wonder.
I know it's difficult to see. It is what it is, but I have yet to learn how to stabilize the camera. Do you see what I'm saying? This is just from the wind. But if you notice on the bottom right here, keep an eye on these things. Pick any spot and you'll notice that it's actually moving. It's the exact same thing that I saw over the Atlantic Ocean. And then when I discovered the Book of Enoch, I figured out that these things are coming out of portals. That makes sense, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't make sense. Because if it's rising from a portal just above these mountains, then how is it also rising from the portal, on the other side of the Atlantic? How the fuck is the moon rising from two different portals if there's not two moons? Magic.
Sorry about that, but pay attention. You see what I mean? That's not atmospheric lensing. That is a plasma turning into what appears to be a solid.
See, here's the thing. You got to be able to explain why it's not. You got to be able to tell me why that is not like refraction as you're looking at it. So, I mean, this right now, there's no reason why anybody should believe that it's not refraction. It matches everything that refraction would predict. Therefore, refraction is a perfectly good answer for why you're seeing this. So, you have to tell me why that's not refraction. Why is it that we see this exact same kind of refraction whenever we are driving down a long highway or looking anywhere across water or anywhere in the sky, I guess? Why would it only be here? Like, he's not explaining why, and that's frustrating as fuck.
Bus. Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
So I got this on the West Coast, and I also got it on the East Coast. Same. You can clearly see the outside edges cooling or something like that. When it comes out of the portal, it is in a liquid state. And I knew...
Oh my God, honey.
What?
So, in case you guys don't know, there are several states to matter, right? There's solid, there's liquid, there's gas, and then there's plasma. So, what Richie just said right here, it should indicate to you that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because he just said that the moon comes out of these portals in a liquid state. Then it rapidly transforms into a fucking plasma state. These are two different states of fucking matter. And the fact that he thinks that plasma is a liquid, holy fuck.
I mean, did it take you this long into the video to figure out that he's a fucking idiot?
No, I knew he was a fucking idiot beforehand, but just to hear it is making my head hurt, and that Advil I took earlier just isn't helping.
This back in November, but I didn't realize that the Book of Enoch backs it up entirely. It does. It does. It says there's 6 portals all over the earth that the sun and the moon both rise in and rise out of.
So, wait, he's still talking about these 6 portals in which the suns rise in and set in. But he's not explaining, like, how they can rise and set in multiple different portals at the same time. I don't understand. Like, I feel like he's not applying critical. Of course, he's not applying critical thinking. What am I fucking talking?
And I'm positive that's exactly what it is we're looking at right here. Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
And I find it humorous that Alex Jones actually brings this up when he's talking to Joe Rogan, that's all the dirt and dust in the atmosphere. So all the dirt and the dust in the atmosphere over the Atlantic Ocean on a winter's evening when it's completely cold, there's almost zero atmospheric lensing. You can see this thing come up, go through its phases, and then turn into a small, round, white object.
It is not going to change size. It'll just get high enough into the sky where the refraction is little to none so that you cannot tell. Or there could just be none because of the actual angle, because that also matters, is the angle at which you're viewing it. But yeah,
that is not atmospheric lensing. Those clouds are behind the moon.
No, those clouds are not behind the moon. Those clouds are in front of the moon, dipshit. Also, it is refraction.
The moon and the sun are indeed the same size. Believe what you see. Believe the senses, the intuition that you've given, that small voice in your head, if you can still hear it.
You think Richie from Boston was the fuck who saw, like, the magician make a rabbit disappear or appear from his hat, and Richie was like, well, holy shit, did you see that? There's a portal in the bottom of that motherfucker's hat. He reached in there, grabbed out a hair, and was like, I got it. There's a portal in my hat. You could make Richie believe any fucking thing that you wanted. Like the magicians that are like, I'll make this entire ocean liner disappear. Watch this. And like it's like some kind of illusion thing, right? But Richie's back there in the back like, holy fuck, y'all see that? Holy shit, he just made an entire ocean liner disappear. Holy fuck. This is the most gullible motherfucker out there.
It's not lying to you. Okay, so check this out. I've shown you this before, but I'll show you again. I'm zoomed in on the moon. I'm going to zoom out so you can see how far away the moon is. But the moon is coming up exactly due east. The sun has set directly behind me, 180 degrees behind me, directly due west.
Okay.
The Earth should be, according to NASA, the Earth should be in the way of the sun, allowing the moon to reflect on it.
What?
And I'm going to...
How? Like, that doesn't make sense on a globe model, like, at all. Like, I don't know. Maybe if you think that the moon is 4 fucking miles away like you do. You okay?
I'm so sorry, yes. It happened to me.
Like, I have no fucking clue as to why he thinks the Earth would hide the moon at this point.
I'm going to show you there's the coordinates. I'm pointing due east, 84 degrees east. The sun has just set an hour previous behind me. The moon is its own illumination device.
No, it's
the
not.
The moon is probably completely and totally plasma.
Wait, how could it partially be plasma? Like, I don't understand. Like the sun isn't partially plasma. Like, the sun's plasma. That's what the sun's made out of.
Partial plasma and partial marshmallow fluff. You don't know.
People are pointing out how like 84 degrees is not due east and everything like that. You're expecting him to know how to read like navigational data that is derived from a globe Earth.
Find it strange that this scientist came out in 1965.
You're being a bit adventurous, though, because you know we're going to be able to test out your theories on the moon fairly soon.
Okay, so a little bit before, and I'm just going to explain this entire black and white clip to you guys right now. A little bit before the moon landing, there's this crackpot scientist guy that says that the moon is completely plasma and that the astronauts cannot land on it. And so this is like after a tornado in Tornado Alley in America, and you find the hickest looking person out there to talk about how they were almost grabbed up by that there tornado.
It was Pandalarium.
It was Pandalarium, honey. I swear to Christ, I can't wait till we claim insurance on our our trailer thing, our trailer home, and we can put roots right back down to where that tornado snatched us the fuck back up again. I don't know why you would want to have like a trailer in Tornado Alley, but people still build them there. No offense to anybody out there, but trailer homes are the worst thing that you could probably buy.
In a tornado-laden area, absolutely.
Well, yeah, in a tornado-laden area. But I mean, just in general, like the manufactured homes. Watch John Oliver's little expose on them. It's pretty good. But anyways, so that's what basically this thing is. Just he's got a little bit more credentials, and he's he's fucking crazy.
Well, not anymore. 11 years ago, of course, it was rather taking a risk. I was considered a lunatic, of course. But by now, the accumulated evidence is already so much in my favor that I'm not taking any risks anymore. On the contrary, there is scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature from what was assumed.
But the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen. Not on the moon. On Mars, on Venus, and other planets, yes. But the moon is definitely, as I assert, a plasma.
So, they appeal to information that confirms what they're saying or what they want to believe. This is bass backwards to what actual science and what actual scientific investigation does. Because you don't seek to confirm your own position. You seek to, you test, your hypothesis to try to disprove it instead of verify it. So, it just seems to me like they will go with any information from any source, anywhere in time, as long as it agrees with what they're already saying or doesn't disagree with what they're saying.
And yes, I heard that. He believes you could land on other planets, but we're talking the 1965s. And then just 4 short years later, after many scientists were coming to the same conclusion that the moon is indeed exactly as it appears, the moon is not something that can be landed on.
I like how he just vaguely says that many scientists came to the realization that the moon is a plasma. Or is made of plasma. And it amazes me because it's like, you know what? 500 people saw that fuck Jesus rise from the dead. I'll tell you right now, they certainly did. It's the same kind of idiotic rhetoric.
It isn't a rock. Do you see what I'm saying? It just isn't. NASA comes out with the most ridiculous set of moon landings, the best moon landing people ever saw on the radio. Does it all make sense now?
No, nothing you have said makes sense at all. Literally none. This entire video made no sense whatsoever.
I'm going to go with sacred texts over the lying forked tongue of NASA.
Oh, God. The lying forked tongue of NASA. They actually say that the NASA, the red swoosh in the NASA logo is actually part of a snake's tongue.
That's dumb as fuck.
It is.
But that's your call. At any rate, Richie from Boston. Links will be in the description. I am out.
So I did cut out a little bit of this video because at the very beginning he was hawking his like prepper stash. Apparently he got like a sponsorship through this one website where you can pay $75 and get like 5 years worth of food sent to you. I don't know why. But anyways, he's a big prepper, and so he's got that kind of ad in front of it. So I just cut that out. But the link to the original video is down below, and if you want to go and check out his video and tell him how dumb he is, which, I mean, honestly, this guy has 341,000 followers now.
It's a lot.
It's a lot for a lot of crazy.
He's real stupid.
Yeah, True Blue just commented, just did a super chat with, how does Richie get 341,000 subscribers? Because he puts out he's basically like a buckshot for conspiracy theory channels, right? What he does is he gets in his car, he rides around, I'm guessing looking for work in whatever kind of job market he's in. He goes around, which I think that he's like a handyman, plumber kind of thing, which is totally fine work, but he gets into his truck and he just hits record. Anytime he hears anything at all on the news, it's like, hello, it's Richie from Boston. I'm just out here driving around trying to have a wreck, kill people with my car. But I just needed to tell you that Jennifer Lopez's butt demons have come out, and they have said that they are going to take over the world and kill Donald Trump. Now listen, the chemtrails, you got to get that shit out your ears. All right, ha, 200 points. He hasn't run over anybody.
I don't even know what you said. Oh, you were pretending to hit somebody.
Run over an elderly person in a crosswalk. Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh man. Anyways, that's it for Richie from Boston. Thank you, heathens, for joining us today to talk about how dumb as fuck Richie from Boston is. I would love to know whether or not there are multiple moons and suns on the flat Earth that go into these portals, or is there just one that apparently splits somehow in like a Doctor Strange sort of fashion? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're not staying for the comments or you're watching this on the replay, I hope that you guys will stand up and use your voice, and I will see you heathens on Monday.